Hi, you guys. I hope everything's okay at home. And today I'm gonna be with you explaining you a topic that I found really useful. In the questions or question tags it's the same. Doesn't make a difference. It just depends on the author. Okay. And the first question that we have here is, well, I'm gonna ask you to look at the picture and for you to think about how this boy feels. Okay, as you can see, he probably was running and he fell down, and well, now he looks like he's not having a great time. There's someone behind him, probably his sister. Okay, and we're gonna think about questions that we could make to the same boy in the situation. Okay, well, first of all, we have you don't feel good, do you? You are hurt, aren't you? You're not okay, are you? It hurts, doesn't it? You're in pain, aren't you? Okay, with these questions, I kind of already know the answer, and I'm just checking on the boy to see what he says, to see what he expresses, right? So these kinds of questions have a name, okay? It's a tag question or question tags, and this is their use. A tag question is a special construction in English. It is a statement followed by a mini question, which is what we saw. Yeah, we use tag questions to ask for confirmation. They mean something like, is that right, or do you agree? They're very common in English. They are also common in Spanish, but instead of using like the verb and everything, we just only use one word or the same word that like is kind of a synonym. Like we say something like, oh well, that was the best movie ever, right? Yeah, so if you get to think about the translation in Spanish, then that will be what it's happening here in our language compared to English, right? So you can see that it's also in Spanish, not only in English, but the structure is different. That's what we're going to focus on today. In the structure, we normally have a positive statement and a negative tag, or a negative statement and a positive tag. I want you to think about like a battery, for example. Yeah. And if you think about a battery, it has two poles, one positive, one negative. And if it had like only one type, it wouldn't work. So it's kind of the same. You cannot use positive statement, positive tag, or negative statement, negative tag. Okay? So in the first one, it says you are hurt, positive. Aren't you? Negative. You don't feel good, negative. Do you? Positive. So you need to notice that the tag repeats the auxiliary verb or the main verb when it's the verb to be from the statement and changes it to negative or positive, which is what we were saying just a few seconds back. Okay. Now, here we have different tenses that you must know by now, or if you don't know them by now, you're going to see them before the school year ends. And here are some examples. In each tense, you have the example with a positive sentence and then a negative tag, or the same sentence but now in negative and with a positive tag. Okay, so we have she's American, isn't she? She isn't American, is she? As you can see, we take the verb to be, which is in this case, and we just change it from one way to another. Present simple, you study English, don't you? Here's very important that you notice that on verbs that are in simple present or in present simple, which is the same, we need to use the auxiliary verb in order to make the negatives. Okay, so we're not gonna say you study English, student you. That doesn't exist. The negative form has to be with don't in this case because we have the subject you. If we had a different subject such as he, she, it, we would use not don't, but we will use doesn't. We're gonna see more examples ahead in the presentation. Okay, and then the negative sentence, you don't study English, do you? In there, we use both auxiliary verbs because we start with the negative and then we need the positive. Yeah, so you can see the little difference between the first one and the second. Past simple, you were at home, weren't you? You weren't at home, were you? Past continuous, Tom was watching TV, wasn't he? Tom wasn't watching TV, was he? Present perfect, he has written 5 letters, hasn't he? He hasn't written 5 letters, has he? Will, he'll read this book, won't he? And he won't read this book, will he? Modal verbs, we have several ones, but we are using can in this case. He can read this book, can't he? And he can't read this book, can he? Okay. Now, we have past simple, but we have past simple using the verb are, which is were in past. And if we had a different verb, such as ate, for example, the past of eat, then we will use didn't on the tag, you know, on the negative tag. Or we will say, you didn't eat the cake, did you? So in that case, we will use did and didn't as positive and negative. Yeah. But remembering always that when we use didn't, the base verb needs to be in the base form, okay? Which is like the present tense, right? Now I'm going to ask you to go for a notebook or paper, something where you can write on. And in here I'm going to stress the verb in each sentence, and I'm going to go with you along this way so you can start thinking about what tense are we using and what will your answer be if you need a negative tag or a positive tag and so on, okay? So if I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video and you can take your time. That's what I suggest in order for you to have like some real practice, all right? So my favorite ice cream flavor is chocolate. You see what I did there? I kind of give you a clue, huh? Mark always reads, I'm sorry, this word was not there. Mark always reads about paintball. I can't jump very high, and my friends don't like horror movies, okay? Now on the first one, the statement is positive, so your tag needs to be negative. Remember the battery? Positive, negative, negative, positive, okay? Mark always reads about paintball. That's a positive statement, so you need a negative tag. I can't jump very high, so that is a negative statement. You need a positive tag. So I'm gonna use my fingers like this. My friends don't like horror movies, so you need a positive tag. Okay, ready? If I'm going too fast, I remind you, just pause the video and then you can continue, all right? Ready? Okay, here are the answers, and I'm just gonna read it so you can know how it will sound in a real conversation. My favorite ice cream flavor is chocolate, isn't it? It will be like an odd question because normally you do know your likes and your dislikes, but probably you're asking your best friend, you know, like if she or he knows you really well, and you're just trying out that part of the friendship, right? Mark always reads about paintball, doesn't he? Like when you're talking about a routine or something that that person has, and you're discussing with another person that knows, in this case, Mark. I can't jump very high, can I? Yeah. Or I can't speak very well, can I? And so on, okay? Like something that you kind of know or suspect, and you want somebody else to tell you. My friends don't like horror movies, do they? As you can see in here, we also do not repeat favorite ice cream or Mark or well, I repeat because it's already the pronoun, but we don't repeat my friends neither, like on the second part in the tag, you know, whether if it's positive or negative, we do not repeat it, but we replace it. Instead of saying my favorite ice cream, we say it. Instead of saying Mark, we say he. Instead of saying my friends, we say they, okay? Because if not, it will sound really, really weird. Okay. Then we have Caroline and Connie aren't at home. She is pretty. You see, I'm giving you like kind of the answer over there. JP isn't at Santo Tomas University right now. My husband and I love each other. Okay, so number 5, aren't. So you need a positive tag. She is pretty. You need a negative tag. JP isn't negative, so you need a positive one. And my husband and I love each other. Love, so you need a negative tag, okay? Taking that in account, I'm going to tell you what the answers should be, okay? Caroline and Connie aren't at home, are they? She is pretty, isn't she? JP isn't at Santo Tomas University right now, is he? My husband and I love each other, don't we? Okay, so those were kind of easy because you were using whether like, present simple or even some models, and that was it. But this is like the final countdown where you're gonna see if you remember all the information that is in the chart or the table that I set up with the different tenses. If you don't remember and you think you won't remember, because in order to do this right, you need a lot of practice. So I recommend you to go back on the video, copy that chart or take a screenshot or something similar to have that information with you so you can make this exercise very consciously, okay? I'm going to do the same. I'm going to stress the verb and to use my finger, whether if it's positive or a negative part, okay? And what you're gonna need like in the near future. You like soccer. He went home. Juan was doing homework. Lucy hasn't gone to the doctor. You won't come tomorrow. And he can jump really high. Okay? So we have the clues, whether if we had a positive or a negative statement, and if we needed a positive or a negative tag. Okay? So here are the answers. Are you ready? Okay. There they go. So let's see how they will sound in a real conversation. You like soccer, don't you? Okay. For example, I do have students who love soccer and who says the first class, if we're talking like a private class or something, they wear like shirts from Barcelona, Real Madrid, or any other team, and then it's like kind of obvious. So I just tell them like, you like soccer, don't you? To have like some conversation to make while we meet each other better. We get to know each other better. He went home, didn't he? Okay, like you already kind of saw him leaving, or you don't see him at the party, and then it's like kind of obvious that he is already home. In here, as we said in the first like chart table, we're using past simple. The verb went is in past simple, so our tag has to be with didn't. Then Juan was doing homework, wasn't he? Like I kind of saw him on the table. I'm making this all up, okay? but so it makes more sense. Lucy hasn't gone to the doctor, has she? Like I can see that Lucy's still like holding her stomach, and she looks really pale. And I mean, I can tell that she's sick, so she hasn't gone to the doctor for sure. But as I haven't talked to her, I'm asking a third person in the situation to let me know. You won't come tomorrow, will you? Like I'm seeing that the person has no intention of coming tomorrow, so it's like obvious as well. And he can jump really high, can't he? imagine that I'm like seeing like a basketball game or something, and I can tell that that player is the best one or something, and well, I get to have that conclusion in my mind. Okay, I hope this was really helpful. I hope you find sense out of it, and I hope to see you really soon, because well, these topics are going to help you with your classes, and are going to help you with your regular life, and I'm sure that you're gonna get to be like a very good English speaker one day, if you're not one already. And well, I get to see you soon. Bye.